Greetings and welcome. This is the New Thought Media Network. I am Ken Ludwig, and you are watching the Vibrant Living Hour. Hope this day finds you safe, healthy, and happy as always, and you are living your best life, doing whatever it is that most makes you feel alive, brings you alive, just excites you in every single realm of your life, whatever it is you're doing, wherever you're doing it, that you are just excited about doing it and being here. So this is March 24th, 2022. It is the 53rd day of the Season for Nonviolence. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, the Season for Nonviolence is a construct that was started by Arun Gandhi and his wife and the Association for Global New Thought 25 years ago. And it is 64 days between the celebrations of the end of life of Mahatma Gandhi on April 30th January 30th in 1948, and Martin Luther King on April 4th in 1968. And it's a great, just a great celebration of nonviolence. And every day during the season for the 64 days, there is a word to kind of focus your attention on. And the Gandhi Institute in Rochester. I almost forgot that. Rochester, New York. Which was started by Arun Gandhi, the grandson of Mahatma Gandhi, and a guest on this show a couple of weeks ago. Arun Gandhi and his wife started the Gandhi Institute, and from there, the Association for Global New Thought came into action with them, and they decided to create this Season for Nonviolence. What they have done over the course of years is kind of grow it and make it a bigger presence, make it something that people pay more attention to. I used to teach it in the teen church at Mile High Church in Lakewood, Colorado. The Gandhi Institute has put together a kind of a little format where every day, to tell you what day it is in the season, and they give you just a little bit of information to focus on and to kind of bring your attention to the idea of peace and nonviolence. And I think it's an important time in history for us all to be focused on a little peace and nonviolence. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more here in a minute. But today's word for the season is action. And what they say about action is today, find a way to make one small change that will contribute to the well-being of your community. Think globally, but act locally. Everything starts in our own hearts first, but what we do in our immediate sphere of influence is important as far as what's going to emanate out or radiate out from us and from that sphere of influence. So there's a quote here from Edmund Burke. It's nobody made a greater mistake than he or she who did nothing because he could only do a little. Talked about that last week on the show around the idea of what can we do in this incredible insanity that's going on in Ukraine. And I mean, I'm sitting here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and what can I do? And the only thing I can do is lift my consciousness. I can lift my consciousness in prayer and in meditation and coming from the heart center and with love for all beings, starting with love for everyone in Ukraine and love for everyone in Russia, love for Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, and even love for Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, even in the horrendous acts that he is performing over there, bombing and missiling. Heard a general use that expression on a news clip the other day, bombing and missiling helpless civilians, hospitals, schools, just indiscriminate mayhem. And killing people for the purpose of breaking their spirit. Even that man, we need to send love to. The old expression, even Hitler went to heaven, which is just kind of an analogy of you hate the sin, not the sinner. What is going on over there is just so wrong, so malevolent. It's mind numbing. But we have to recognize the emanation of the divine that is even Vladimir Putin. And love from that space. So Edmund Burke's quote here, I just go back to the source of what I'm saying, is that the idea that we can do little doesn't mean we do nothing. That's the big mistake. And I'll read you Edmund Burke's quote again. Maybe it'll just maybe ring a little bit deeper to you. Nobody made a greater mistake than he or she who did nothing because he or she could only do a little. So anything we can do is a help, especially when we're talking about raising consciousness, right? You lift consciousness a little bit at a time. So they give you some things to think about here. What is the meaning of the statement, actions speak louder than words? Is it true? What does that mean to you? Actions speak louder than words. I mean, we can pontificate all we want about, as I just did, around what's going on over there. But the truth is our actions in regards to raising consciousness around what is going on over there, that's what matters. That's what makes the difference. And some action that we can do, just very, very, very subtle action from our own hearts, is do a little journaling. Make a list of what you believe in. Make a commitment to take action on one thing in which you believe. And I'm saying that from the standpoint of, do you believe in peace? Do you believe in love? Do you believe in the oneness of all life? Do you believe in the connectedness of every being in the universe? If you do, then practice from that standpoint. The teachings of the science of mind bring us to that point always, that there is only a oneness of life. There is only God. God is all that there is, and each and every one of us is an emanation of the divine. We are an individuation of that one life. And so we have to love one another. We are all connected. Everything I do affects you. Everything you do affects me. There is no place where I begin and you end, or you end and I begin. It is all one life. And so we need to just be conscious of that, not lose sight of that. Approach life from that perspective. Approach life from the standpoint of oneness. We have learned all we will ever need to learn from war. We just don't need to know anymore from war. You know, in fact, in the Science of Mind textbook, this is my original Science of Mind textbook. You can see all my sticky notes. You can see the spine. I don't know if you can see this, but the spine, just before I think we left Colorado to move to North Carolina, I retaped it for the 4th time so that it wouldn't fall apart, because it's been read and used. This book's been read 3.5 times. But on page 107, there is something that I just find I've always found fascinating, and it's so applicable to what's going on today. The science of mind and spirit makes a tremendous claim when it states that the individual should be free from the bondage of sickness, poverty, and unhappiness. It does, however, carefully set forth the conditions under which freedom operates and the laws governing life, stating in no uncertain terms that unless man understands these conditions and obeys these laws, he will not receive full benefit from its teachings. He goes on to say the world is beginning to realize that it has learned all it should. The world is beginning to realize that it has learned all it should through suffering and pain. Surely there can be no intelligence in the universe that wishes man to be sick, suffer pain, be unhappy, and end in oblivion. Surely, if God or universal intelligence is imbued with goodness, then it could not ordain that man should ultimately be other than a perfect expression of life. That's our work. That is our work. To embody that, to be a perfect expression of life at a time when everything seems to be going to hell in a handbasket, when we have this amazing atrocity going on across the planet on the other side of the world in Ukraine. By the way, if you're out there listening, I can see people are out there listening. If you are, please make a comment, ask a question, make a point, whatever you have to contribute. I'm here to listen. If you want me to cover something or talk about it, I'd be glad to. Just let me know that you're here. And while I just took that little break there, we'll have a swig of our every Thursday afternoon hemp-imbued coffee. Actually, it's hemp coffee. They call it hemp coffee from my sponsor, HempWorks, but it's actually CBD infused. There are 5 milligrams of CBD in here. Great wake-up call every day. Thank you, Maria. Peace in heart means tolerance and respect regarding one and everyone else's thoughts. Absolutely true. It's really, really hard. We are so divided. We are so separated. We are so tribal in this particular point in history that we really have to stop and think. I have a really, really dear friend who I truly love this person. And this person is now doing Facebook stories with the Go Brandon thing and putting up really negative stories regarding Ketanji Brown Jackson, which is just is insanity to me. She's going to be our next Supreme Court justice, and these and the other side, if you will. I don't want to get too political here, but sometimes I can't help myself. The GOP is asking clown car questions. I mean, they just, they step in and they started out by saying, oh, they're so glad that the Democrats are going to be more respectful than they were to that despicable human being that was last brought in, Brett Kavanaugh. He wasn't the last one; he was the second to last one. The one after him was even more questionable. But anyway, they were grateful that the Democrats were going to be more respectful, and then they backed the clown car in, and Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz and the woman whose name escapes me right now. She's just the worst of all of them. They're asking gotcha questions and Tom Cotton. They're just being jerks. Jerks is the only word. But I still have to respect that they are an emanation, each and every one of them is an emanation of the divine and free to express themselves how they wish to express themselves, no matter how despicable I find it, no matter how much I disagree with it. That's part of that tribalism that's destroying us little by little across the globe. It's not just the United States thing. It's going on all across the globe. But if we're going to have a peaceful society, if we're going to raise the collective consciousness around this disaster in Ukraine and hopefully diffuse it, we have to come together. As those of us who are on, I'm gonna read you Ernest Holmes. He wrote a prayer for world peace, and more than ever, those of us who have chosen to live on the cutting edge of consciousness, we're really called to be a beacon of light and hope. We're here to use our tools of affirmative prayer, meditation, and consciousness to lift that consciousness, to lift and use conscious love to actively pray in peace and for peace. Holmes taught to speak our word into the action of the universal law, knowing that it must come into manifestation if we speak it into the law. To that end, here's the prayer that Holmes wrote. I know there is but one mind, which is the mind of God, in which all people live and move and have their being. I know there is a divine pattern for humanity, and within this pattern, there is infinite harmony and peace, cooperation, unity, and mutual helpfulness. I know that the mind of man, being one with the mind of God, shall discover the method, the way, and the means best fitted to permit the flow of divine love between individuals and nations. Thus, harmony, peace, cooperation, unity, and mutual helpfulness will be experienced by all. I know there shall be a free interchange of ideas, of cultures, of spiritual concepts, of ethics, of educational systems, and of scientific discoveries, for all good belongs to all alike. I know that because the divine mind has created us all, we are bound together in one infinite and perfect unity. In bringing about world peace, I know that all people and all nations will remain individual, but unified for the common purpose of promoting peace, promoting happiness, harmony, and prosperity. I know that deep within every person, the divine pattern of perfect peace is already implanted. I now declare that in each person and in leaders of thought everywhere, this divine pattern moves into action and form to the end that all nations and all people shall live together in peace, harmony, and prosperity forever. And so it is. That's an off the charts great prayer from Ernest Holmes. And it's the place we need to come from love in our hearts, from the idea that peace and harmony are our divine right. And that however anyone might be misusing the law into creating havoc and disharmony, we still need to love that situation, that person, up out of that murk, that mire, whatever that you want to call that. It's not easy. And it's really, really, really a challenge in this time when we're being pulled in the direction of our biases, in the direction of our being confirming our biases. What do they call it? Confirmation bias? Is that what they call it? Or bias confirmation? It is all around us. We, each and every one of us, listen to the things that most make us feel like we are being agreed with, that we're in the mainstream, or that the mainstream is within us, however you want to look at it. But in the end, creating that divide for the purposes of power, for money, for control, whatever it is, and it all really seems to source from our politics. A lot of people would blame the media. I don't blame the media. I think the media gives us exactly what we want. I'm a screaming progressive. I watch mostly liberal media, liberal-minded media, if you will. And what do I get there? I get my bias is confirmed. And people on the other side of the thought process, they're watching Fox News, OAN, whatever else is out there. Some of them are absolute Looney Tunes. But I have to respect that they are expressing their divine right to free will, to free expression, freedom of expression. That's in our Constitution. The expression is pray without ceasing. I am coming to a mind of knowing that every single moment of every single day, my words have meaning. The words that I speak, the words that I express, the words that I write, the words that I think, they have meaning and they have purpose, and they literally are creating my existence. And every time I am using those words for something other than my highest good, my most life-affirming good, I'm not helping me. I'm not helping you. I'm not helping anybody. To that point, I recently revisited a book that I read 25 years ago. And I just started reading it. I'm only a couple, 3 chapters in. And it's really a classic. It's The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. I don't know if you know who she is. Florence Scovel Shinn was a woman who lived from 1871 to 1940. She died at 69 years old. She was an artist and a book illustrator who, in the middle of her life, became a New Thought teacher and metaphysical writer. She wrote 5 books. The most recognized of which is this one, The Game of Life and How to Play It. But her other books were Your Word is Your Wand, The Secret Door to Success, The Power of the Spoken Word, which was published after her death. And in 2013, actually, 73 years after her death, Louise Hay published a book of hers, The Magic Path of Intuition. The Magic Path of Intuition was actually something discovered by a rare book dealer who found it. It's the original typewritten manuscript that Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, and he contacted Louise Hay and said, "This is something I think you might be interested in." And of course, Louise Hay then published the book. It's called The Magic Path of Intuition. And the 3 books she published while she was alive were The Game of Life and How to Play It, Your Word is Your Wand, and The Secret Door to Success. I have actually committed today that I'm going to visit those books, because this book is amazing. This is amazing. It's so simple. It's so direct and to the point. She wrote this book in 1925. And in 1925, did she write it? Yes, 1925 it was published. And it's very, very much focused on we create our reality. Very focused on, from her perspective, on the word. The word has power. She is very, very clear that the word has to come from love. The word being thought, word, and deed. Those are all the result of your word. And as Don Miguel Ruiz said in the 4 Agreements, you must be impeccable with your word. You absolutely must be impeccable with your word. Your word must be the truth of who you are. And it must be consistent. And when we can come from that place, then we have no problems. We have no issues. Florence Shin comes from the standpoint of, if you are someone who is anticipating evil, bad, disease, poverty, if you're anticipating those, if you're preparing for those, good, because that's going to be your reality. This book is only, by the way, 95 pages long. The last 2 pages are affirmations. She was very big on affirmations, affirmations being something she used to turn around the negative thought, the negative word. And the key to all of her affirmations, struck me as amazing, is there is no power but God. Anytime I live in fear, if I'm in fear or if I'm thinking in poverty, I am now recognizing duality. I am recognizing 2 powers, good and evil, or good and not so good, or great and shitty, whatever you want to say, however you want to put it. One is good, one not so much. Florence says that doesn't exist. And when I stop and I think and I analyze that, I know that that's 100% true. I know that's 100% true. You absolutely have to be clear that there is only one power. I know it in my core. Do I live it in my everyday life? That's the challenge. That's the challenge. You know, Lisa and I, several years ago, were having a very dark time in our lives, and I just came up with a what I refer to as a golden key phrase. It came from the fellow who wrote the Golden Key. Oh, come on, who wrote the Golden Key? How do I not? How does that even escape me? You know, it's really funny. That's so important to me right now that I will just. Emmett Fox, of course. Emmett Fox wrote the Golden Key. And that's like a 6-page booklet, like 3 by 5. It's like 6 pages. But from that booklet, I came up with an affirmation that I refer to as a golden key. And the affirmation was, there is no power but God. God is my source. God is with me now and always. And very clearly, I was affirming that there is only one power. There is no power but God. That was the beginning of the affirmation, the golden key phrase. And obviously that's what I was doing. I never, ever, ever connected that dot to the fact that I was eliminating the duality. That never even occurred to me. I was just focused on the idea that there was only God. My beloved and I are very clear that phrase truly helped us get through one of the darkest times that either one of us had ever experienced. Certainly the darkest time we'd ever experienced together. Recognizing the oneness. There's only one life. It's God's life, and that life is perfect. That life is my life right now, always. And it is the source of all my good. If I recognize that there is only God, if I recognize that there is only good, if I recognize that, then I also, the corollary to that is that I have to recognize that everything is love, because God is love, because the divine is the source. And I can't, God maybe scares some people. It's the overarching creative intelligence, spirit, Yahweh, Jehovah, Great Spirit, whatever you want to call it. The overarching creative intelligence of the universe is how I describe it, and I shorten that to God. Part of my Catholic upbringing, probably. That's the phrase I use. But long ago, dissolved the idea of the white-haired, bearded guy in a cloud, who my friend Barry Hebrew says he was always mad, and he was always particularly mad at me. And long ago, that disappeared. That God is now the overarching creative intelligence of the universe. I know that that's the truth, but it creates from love. It creates because it absolutely loves what it does, and it loves its creation. And its creation is here to take that love and to embrace it and radiate it, to express it. Love is the fulfillment of the law. I know Holmes stated that in The Science of Mind. I just read that sentence in this book today. Love is the fulfillment of the law. And love, just simply as a word, has power. I have taken love into my meditation every single morning for the last 2 weeks maybe. And I am thrilled with how I feel doing that, how my meditation feels, but I'm also thrilled with results. I have been experiencing some physical issues. I am clear as a bell that loving the areas of my body with which I'm having issues has made a difference. I have friends who are experiencing challenges. Meditating from a space, from a heart space of love and light to them, I just feel that I'm lifting them. And then I go into action from the season for nonviolence. I go into action. Today, I have two people that I include in my prayer work every single morning. Two people who are experiencing the challenge of the most dreaded word in the English language, right? The big C, cancer. Both of those people I then communicated with today, texted them, and got a reply, and had a little back and forth with them. That's the action that came from my loving expression, that came from the conscious decision in my mind of incorporating that idea of love and light from my heart in my meditation. You've heard that 2 weeks in a row. I'm going to repeat it again for you in case you haven't heard it and maybe don't understand it. I don't know where I put it, but I think I pretty much know it by heart. The average human chest, every cell of your body emanates light, right? And light is measured in photons. And photons are very, 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 very tiny, itty bitty quantity, if you will, of light. The average human chest emanates 20 photons of light per second. 20 photons of light per second. When one goes into meditation and meditates from the heart and meditates from that space, sending love and light to others, to situations, to circumstances, to whatever they send it to their own body. When they meditate from that space, sending love and light from the heart space, that 20 photons per second increases 5,000 fold. You go from 20 photons per second to 100,000 photons per second. That's serious. So when you come from that place, not only are you increasing the light that you're emanating, but that's absolutely an expression to me that you are increasing the light within, because it can't just come from here. If you're doing that, you're increasing the light within from every cell of your body. If you're increasing that light, you are simply, maybe oversimplify by saying you are illuminating the universe. Right? A small candle in the darkness is a great illumination. 100,000 photons from me in the darkness is a great illumination from each and every one of us, wherever we direct it. And then, as the season says, then take action on top of it. Follow up. Yeah, Wayne, I believe that's a great quote from Yoda. Luminous beings are we. Yes, we are. Each and every one of us. By the way, my hemp coffee, of course, I showed you that, right? I showed you my hemp coffee. And this is, it's really funny. When am I going to get this right? I guess it's because I had it in my left hand. The hemp coffee, 5 milligrams of CBD in every single cup of that stuff. And let's just give you a little. That's my sponsor, HempWorks. HempWorks.com/Ken Ludwig. And I want you to, a full line of products that's beyond comprehension. Here is the relief cream, which I've told you about. Amazing for pain relief. We have 7 different flavors, 3 different concentrations of broad spectrum. That's the wrong one. Full spectrum and broad spectrum CBD oil. And if you don't know the difference between, all you got to do is ask me and I'll tell you. And the other thing that I have always been showing you recently is my hemp hand lotion, hand and body lotion. Thick, creamy, rich, just does the trick. I really love this stuff. Skin care, hair care, pain relief, dog treats, dog CBD, just a full spectrum, if you will, of CBD and hemp-infused products. Try it, you'll like it. The other piece of that is, of course, that HempWorks is part of a larger company that is called My Daily Choice. My Daily Choice has actually 9 different brands under their umbrella. And one of the things I also wanted to show you here was My Daily Choice. I think there's 8 or 10 of these now, but these are nutritional sprays. No one on the planet has ever been more skeptical of nutritional sprays. These just work. It's just that simple. I've been with this company 2 years. I don't think I tried it for the first 6 months. When I tried it, I fell in love. Sleep Spray this is a phenomenal product. I don't know how else to describe this to you. It is a phenomenal product. You try this, you'll never stop using it. Then we also have, this is eCell. This is another one. eCell is just about cellular energy. It's about energizing your cells. We have Trim 365. Trim 365. Can I get the name on there? I'm just so bad at this. Trim 365 there it is, Trim 365. It is, main ingredient is Garcinia cambogia. It helps to quell your appetite. That's not the right word. It helps to quell your appetite, but it also, Garcinia cambogia has a unique ability to help prevent your body from making fat cells. So this is a great one. It really does help you to eat less if you take it before meals. And the last one here is my Boost Spray. This spray I absolutely love. This is just kind of a great lift. Just one of those deals where you do 8 sprays of that under your tongue. You feel fabulous. You're awake. You're alive. You're alert, and you have no flash and crash like maybe you might get from your coffee. So that's just a great thing that I'd like you to know about. If you're interested in following me on Instagram, good luck, because I don't do a lot out there, but I am the evolving _hippie on Instagram. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can find me at my branded Facebook page. My beloved Lisa and I have Vibrant Aging. You can email me, teamrocketnow@gmail.com. Of course, one of the most important things to know about me and this station, the New Thought Media Network, is a totally nonprofit organization. We are a 501c3, so if you can absolutely deduct any donation you make to us. newthoughtmedia.org, that's ntmedia.org. Click on donate. We're thrilled to death to get whatever you would like to give us. Makes us very, very happy. newthoughtmedia.org, ntmedia.org. If you have anything that you want me to address, that you want me to talk about at any time, please send me a message at any one of those venues. I'm glad to address any subject you want to address. I hope this idea of peace in our hearts, peace in the world resonated with you today. As always, I am immensely grateful for the great gift of your time and your attention. I know you have other things you can do, but I'm so thrilled that you take the time to watch me either live or in the archives. It's not called archives anymore, is it? It's called whatever it's called. Sometimes you get to be 71 years old, you just forget the words. But I'm not claiming that. Never mind. I didn't mean it. Anyway, thank you for the great gift of your time and your attention. I hope you will join me every Thursday at 4:00 Eastern Time, 2:00 Mountain Time. Next week, we have a great guest. Esther Brzezinski is my guest. She is she's falls right in line with me in Vibrant Aging. She has the great line, age is not my cage. I think we're going to have a great conversation. Upcoming guests, I hope, will just excite you and bring you great knowledge in what we're doing here. So from a very, very, very cloudy, rainy Raleigh, North Carolina, I bid you namaste.